Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti, hoping you guys are having a good day and above all else, that you are looking after yourselves and one another. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you back to another segment of Album Spotlight. Now, I recently did a video with Bill Schuster called Going Live, and in that video, we talked about live albums, and many points that we brought up were uh, first of all, single albums versus double albums for live albums, the necessity for live albums, who actually buys live albums. Is it, the fan base or the general public or people, just the fans who went to the show of these certain bands? And also, another question was brought up. Which live albums are, in fact, live albums? And one of the albums that Bill brought up, and he's gone on to say that it's one of his favorite albums, is Judas Priest's "Unleashed in the East." And for those of you out there who don't know, I'm pretty sure you all do know, but there was a controversy surrounding the release of "Unleashed in the East," and it had to do with the vocals that were recorded for the album. And Rob Halford admitted in an article years after the release of El Nation East that, in fact, the vocals were not recorded live for the album. There were two reasons given for that happening. One was that the monitors were not working on the night of the shows, so Rob couldn't hear himself properly. And two, that he was dealing with a bad flu and he couldn't hit the notes the night of the shows. So he decided to go back in the studio and re-record all the vocals for the tracks live, trying to give the album as much of a live feel as possible with the vocal delivery. Whatever the reason, it is a reason. But after doing the episode, I wanted to dive into some of their other releases. And for Album Spotlight, I think I picked a good one to talk about. The album in the spotlight today is Screaming for Vengeance. Now, Screaming for Vengeance is Judas Priest's eighth release. It was released on July 1st, 1982, through Columbia Records in North America and CBS in the UK. It was produced by Tom Allen. Now, Tom Allen has an interesting history. He started out as a music engineer, and he had done engineering work for such groups as Genesis on their first album, and he also engineered the first three Black Sabbath albums. Now, Judas Priest's history, just a bit of a side note. Judas Priest came out with their debut release, Rock'n'Rolla, in 1974. They would follow that up with Sad Wings of Destiny and Sin After Sin. Also, they released such albums as Stay in Class and Killing Machine. Killing Machine was produced by James Guthrie, and it wasn't until British Steel that they would start working with Tom Allen, and they worked with him for about 10 years because they got on so well and they had a really good working relationship. Not only did Tom Allen produce British Steel, he also produced their 1981 release, Point of Entry. Now, about Screaming for Vengeance, it was pretty much considered their breakthrough album, even though it was their eighth release. Um, it has a short playing time for CDs, but for vinyl, again, it was just perfect. It has a playing time of 38 minutes and 43 seconds. Now, playing on the album, you have Rob Halford on vocals, KK Downing on guitars, Glenn Tipton on guitars, Ian Hill on bass, and Dave Holland on drums. This would be Dave Holland's third appearance with the band in terms of as a drummer playing on an album. He also played on British Steel and Point of Entry. Now, all but one track, all the music, all the tracks except for one, sorry, were written by Glenn Tipton, KK Downing. I'm just gonna say JJ, KK Downing, and Rob Halford. Now, this album would go on to achieve um, platinum status in Canada and double platinum status in the US. Now, I've listened to this album a few times, and I gotta tell you, it is unrelenting. Now, first of all, they decided to go for the throat hard rock style as opposed to the album British Steel and less melodic compositions as opposed to the album Point of Entry. And man, did they deliver on this SOB. I'm like, oh my God. I'll go through the tracks with you. 10 tracks in total, 6 tracks on side one, 4 tracks on side two. It starts off with a 41-second instrumental, The Hellion. In my notes, I have your epic intro with cymbal crashes and twinning guitar leads. Just brutal. Then it segues into Electric Eye, clocking in at 3 minutes and 39 seconds. Now, I should tell you that with all but two of the tracks, in terms of playing time, have a playing time of 3 to 4 minutes. There are two tracks that go over 5 minutes, and I'll get into that soon. Electric Eye, in my notes, I have here fast-paced tempo, uh, thick guitar chords, and blistering guitar solo on this. And what I like about Tom Adams' production on this album is he has a really thick snare drum sound, like really full and rich drum sound overall. The drums are prominent in the mix. They're not buried anywhere. They're not, you know, buried low in the mix. They're brought up front, and it's amazing. Really like in your face type of production. I'd love to have this on a surround sound um type of situation. It'd be amazing. After Electric Eye, um, comes the track Riding on the Wind. Again, 3 minutes and 7 seconds. The only way I can describe the intro on this is furious, a furious drum fill on the intro and powerful vocal on this. Um, Rob Halford has a vocal style that goes from mid-range gravelly voice to really high-pitched searing over the top vocals. And he goes like back and forth between those two ranges on these tracks very easily and beautifully done. After Riding on the Wind comes the track Bloodstone, 3 minutes and 51 seconds. Strong bass on this track, good steady drums on this piece, and again, heavy crunching guitars. Track 5 was the only track that isn't written by three main songwriters of the band, written by Bob Helgen Jr., called Take These Chains. 3 minutes and 7 seconds. Calm guitar passage on the intro. It's more melody oriented than the other tracks on the album. Uh, it has really good chugging rhythm guitar. Side one ends with a track called Pain and Pleasure, 4 minutes and 17 seconds. Heavy rhythm guitar on this track, steady plodding drum pattern on this piece. Really good, just amazingly done. Um, Side two starts like like a bat out of hell, pardon the reference. But it's the title track, Screaming for Vengeance. 4 minutes and 43 seconds. Cymbal crashes mixed with heavy guitar chords, fast-paced drumming that come in with Rob Halford's searing vocals over the top, just delivered like unrelenting, like there's no stopping him, right? Um, and he also provides screaming vocals on the chorus on overdubs, just amazing, and beautifully done twinning guitar leads on the guitar solos. And that's the one thing I like about Judas Priest on this album. When they do a guitar solo between Tipton and Downing, they always tend to, well, not tend to, they do. They twin the guitar lead. So they're both playing the same part. They just double track it to give it more punch and more texture and more of a full sound. Okay, again, I'd love to hear this album on surround. Just amazing. Um, After the title track, track two is the lead off single. You got another thing coming, and clocking in at like 5 minutes and 11 seconds. This was the one track that was written at the very last minute. It was just something that they started to kick around in the studio, like an idea, and they didn't know whether or not it was going to make it on the album or not. Finally, somebody said, "Are we going to do this or not? Is it going to go on the album or not?" And it did, and it proved to be the most popular song from the album. In my notes, I have here a good steady drum pattern, chugging rhythm guitars, ass shaking rhythm. This is a song where you can sit there and you're bopping your head, you're tapping your foot, you're shaking your ass, right? It's that good. And it has a vibe of the message in the song has a vibe of going for what you want in life. Just going for what you want, whatever it is, on a professional level, personal level, just going for what you want and living your life the way you want to live it, making no apologies and just enjoying what you have and doing the best you can and having a great time. You know, what's wrong with that? And it turned out to be the biggest hit on the album. And again, it is an ass shaker of a track. I know you don't really think of Judas Priest being an ass shaking band, but you know what? An ass shaker is an ass shaker. A good rhythm is a good rhythm. And this track has a hell of a good rhythm to it. After You Got Another Thing Coming is the track Fever, clocking in at 5 minutes and 20 seconds. In my notes, I have here tranquil guitar chords on the intro, steady plodding drum pattern, heavy rhythm guitar that come in, and in my notes also I have great thick guitar tone and twinning guitar leads on the solo. Again, they do a lot of that on this album. The last track on the album is a track called Devil's Child. 4 minutes and 48 seconds. In my notes, I have here prominent bass, heavy rhythm guitar, chords, blistering solo. And Rob Halford does a soaring vocal on this. And like I said, on all these songs, he can go from, his mid range, which has more of I guess you'd say like a gravelly, not like a Rod Stewart kind of a thing, but more, how can I put gravelly is the only way I can describe it. But then you can go from that to a ear-piercing, soaring high note, like a F sharp, like no one's business. And he can switch back and forth within the same song doing that. And it's just brilliant. It is amazing. He is so powerful in his vocal delivery, okay? Especially on songs like Screaming for Vengeance, like unrelenting and unbelievable. So there you have it, guys. Album Spotlight featuring Screaming for Vengeance. Um, Please put down in the comments your opinion of this album. Is it one of your favorites? And if not, let me know what album of Judas Priest is your favorite. Also, I'd like to know other albums of the band that I should maybe check out and maybe talk about. I know that Nostradamus is considered a controversial pick to talk about. I think I'm going to be doing a video on Nostradamus soon. But yeah, please let me know what you think of Screaming for Vengeance and give me your views and thoughts. And yeah, maybe I'll be doing more videos on Judas Priest. Anyways, that's it for now. Please click like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content I've got coming up. I've got more shows coming up with Jim Bricker, Bill Schuster, and Ken Cheshire, and more shows solo. Anyways, that's it for now. Please look after yourselves and one another, and I'll see you soon with more videos. Bye for now.